Hi, this is Dan here. Hope you're doing well today. I've got 4 really cool bass grooves for you today and a metronome exercise that I absolutely love. This is brilliant for getting your timing, your accuracy, and your grooves together. Also, towards the end, I'm going to do a little bit of bonus, giving you some little ways that you can improvise around these lines. Let's take a look at the first line, which is a 160 beats per minute rock line using 8th notes. So that's fast, and beats per minute is a measure of tempo. That's pretty fast. Let's look at the notes. We've got just A, C, G, and A, just 8th notes every time. Going A on the 5th fret, to C on the 3rd fret, A string, G on the 3rd fret, E string, 5th fret, E string again for that A. You can play that open if you want, the A's. But the idea here is I've got my metronome set up here at different tempos. This one's 160 beats per minute. What I'm doing is I'm halving that to 80 and just counting beats 2 and 4 like this. So here's the metronome. Now that might sound slow. You might be feeling it like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 80 BPM, but that's not how I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it like this. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I can play this like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Two, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that takes out a little bit of the information when you're playing with a metronome. You know, if you put it all on every single beat, that's one way of practicing with a metronome. It's absolutely fine. But just removing beats 1 and 3 leaves you with 2 and 4, and that's like the backbeat. You know, when you're listening to drummers, that's the backbeat. Beats 2 and 4. It's a good one to feel that. Okay, that's the idea of this whole lesson. And as I said, later on, I'll show you just a little bonus of how to improvise over all of these. But the next one is a brilliant bass line, People Every Day by Arrested Development. Specifically, there's a live version that I got this from. And this is how the line goes. And once you learn this, you can actually go over to YouTube or wherever you get your music and play along to that, because throughout most of the song, it literally is just that bass line without deviating. It's brilliant to play along with that. It's actually in D flat major, this one. So we've got D flat on the 4th fret of the A string, down to the A flat on the 4th fret of the E string. And I'm playing it 2nd finger, both those notes. Then going across with the little finger to the B flat on the 6th fret of the E string. The last note is a C on the 3rd fret of the A string. Now this is at 100 beats per minute, so I've halved my metronome to get to 50. So it takes a little bit of a while for your brain to zone in, but it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now that note there, the A flat, the 2nd note, 3, 4, that lands just before beat 2, and it's about locking into this metronome. So I'm still tapping my foot 2, 3, 4 like that every time, nodding my head like that. It's a really, really good habit to get into, this sort of metronome exercise. You can obviously use any groove that you know or anyone that you make up to do this too. Next one, we're going to do a blues shuffle. This is in G minor, and here are the notes. I'll play it first. So we've got 2 Gs, 3rd fret E string, octave higher, 5th fret of the D string, got the next Gs, then 2 Fs, back to the G, and the next bar is exactly the same, 2 Gs, low and then high, then 2 Fs. This is a shuffle, by the way, I should have mentioned that. So instead of the 8ths being straight like they were in the rock example, so like da 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 da, then out da 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 da. That's pretty crucial blues feel. And at the end we got triplets. So those three notes occur in one beat, in the fourth beat in this case, and it's G, F, D. But really, memorize this pattern and you can make anything up. More of that in a minute. Let's have a go with that then. So this time, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm thinking because it's shuffle. 3, 4. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Last one. Now this actually looks the easiest, and it is the easiest to play, but might be the hardest. When you have slow songs, they're actually hard to play, I think anyway, really, really well. So this is 80 beats per minute, so we've halved to 40 beats per minute, which sounds like this. They're really slow. Okay, so now I've got to be going 1, 2, 3, 4. Like I say, sounds easy, but give it a try, okay? And this is all about locking in with the metronome and improving your sense of time. As a bass player, that really is probably the most important currency you have, is your groove, your feel, your timing. So even those simple notes, I was really trying to make them feel good, you know. Now let's move into that portion of the lesson where I will talk a little bit about how to embellish this and, you know, make it a little bit more interesting. Let's go from the beginning. We'll go from that, the rock one. And really, I'll give you just one idea for each that you can use, okay? So we've got, the first one is in the key of A minor. So anything fancy I did there, because we're in the key of A minor, I was using A minor pentatonic or A minor blues. It's exactly the same scale with the difference of one note. This is the A minor pentatonic scale. And if you add a flat 5 in there, you get a minor blues scale. And that for rock is just brilliant. So if I'm going... Last bar, great place to put a fill in. Just going down that scale, genius scale. Or you could add some of the scale in the middle of the bass line, so. You know, so. I was actually playing this scale in a different position there. Let's do it. I like to know a scale in different positions, because if I just use the octave pattern there, or the shape that I gave you, this one, I have to shift to the C there. I suppose I could play. I suppose I could go down there and play. You could stick in one position, or you could learn the shape in different places, but use the A minor pentatonic or A minor blues for that, and it will sound really good. Next one, well, this is an interesting one. If I was to play this on a gig, I wouldn't do any fills whatsoever. You know, if you listen to the original, it's a complete lesson in discipline and that style of music, hip hop. You really are, it's almost like you're being a sample by playing the same thing over and over again. But what did I do there? Now this key is D flat major. And that's a really important bit of information, because now, you know, keeping things simple for me means pentatonic. You can use D flat major pentatonic like this. Or even. since we're in the key of D flat major, you can use notes from the D flat major scale. This one, I alluded to this before, G minor. We've got the G minor blues scale again, which of course in a blues is going to sound great. But you've got root 5 flat 7 octave, and all the notes in this example are coming from those notes, that selection of notes. That really perfectly outlines a G minor 7 chord. And that was the same scale as the A minor one, just 2 frets down because we're now on G. So there's a very, very common usable scale, is that pentatonic blues thing. Last one, this slow ballad. Now we're in the key of C minor here. That's 3 flats, C minor. C natural minor, that's this scale. And in the example, we just have roots, that's it. Root notes is just the lowest note of the chord, so. It's a little boring. What about sprucing it up a little bit? We can use those notes from that scale. So here, just using the first few notes of the scale there, which also happens to lead you very musically into the B flat, which is the second bar. And again, just using notes of the scale, really easy. When I'm jamming, improvising, or writing bass lines, I'm doing this all the time. There's the G here, and it's a minor chord, so what about using that exact same shape as I showed you in the blues shuffle? It works, doesn't it? Because it's the same chord. Then we've got an A flat, and I did this. This is just something I personally fall back on all the time. I know it works over a major chord. We have a root, a 5. So that's frets 4 of the E string and 6 of the A string. That's the root and the 5. And 2 frets higher than that, on fret 8 of the D string, is your 9. Which is just counting 9 up a scale, okay? And this is a real common pattern. I use it all the time. Then 2 higher than that note is your 10th. You know, you just keep going. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you get a lovely sound. And this works all the time over major chords, and that's why I know it very quickly and well, because I've learned this loads, and I know that that fits over this chord progression. So I know I've moved into, you know, improvising, but that's a good thing, I think, is to be able to maybe combine a couple of things in your practice. So the lesson is about metronome beats on 2 and 4 to practice timing. And I've given you 4 exercises here, but why not try to work on your musicality, your improvisation, I guess a little bit of theory, knowing what works over what. I think that's a good thing. Just push yourself a little bit further and you're really going to help yourself. If you like that lesson and you want to improve your groove a little bit more, I've got a playlist here that you can watch a couple of videos from that. Any questions, let me know. I'll see you on the next lesson.